Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jessie. If you are new here, this is my husband, Benjamin, if you've never seen him before. Today we're gonna do like a little pregnancy Q&A that I asked some questions on a couple of my last YouTube videos and then on Instagram. So I have like a handful here that we're gonna answer. I wanted to bring Ben on so that he could help answer some of these as well. If you have never been here before, I do all kinds of videos about lifestyle, living with chronic illness. I talk a lot about personal finance and our journey with debt, which Ben and I have done a ton of videos on if you're interested in that. And then now I'm talking about pregnancy because it's a huge part of what's going on in our lives. So yeah, that's kind of what we're gonna talk about today. Do you have anything?
Yeah, please excuse my my healing cold sore. I got my wisdom teeth out a week and a half ago. A cold sore felt like it was necessary to pop up during that, so
yeah, so he's dealing with the aftermath of it.
But we're almost gone. Despite what it may look like on camera, it's actually almost gone, so
yeah. So we're gonna start with some questions. I just have them written down on my phone.
I don't know what these are, by the way.
He doesn't. So I don't even, the last time I looked at this was June 29th.
This is live. None of this has been rehearsed.
The first one is, are you finding out the sex or gender? I like...
Jessie, get on your soapbox for a second.
I hate it when people say gender because it's not... I was a women and gender studies minor or in college, so I think that I'm like very particular about it. Like our professor would call us out if we ever said gender versus sex, like male and female is sex. So anyway, but you don't want to call it like a sex reveal when you're doing a party.
That has become a topic of conversation with all of that. Like that conversation is pertinent now. So to be continuing this terminology is... Yeah.
So anyway, are we finding out the sex is the question. And I'll let you answer that because he is more passionate about this than I am.
No, we are not. So this is my call for now. I always joke with people that ask, I'm like, we're not finding it out until Jessie won't let me have that anymore. And eventually, if I have to give in, I will.
It's something that's really important.
Yeah, this has always been something that I've just thought is like super cool. To me, there's no bigger or better surprise. It's like nature's ultimate surprise is what your baby will be. So like to me, to wait until that moment to find out just makes that like the most special thing ever. Like I know it's already a very special moment, or you know, so I've heard, and I can imagine. But to me, that just it just feels like so exciting.
Goldfinch, I got very distracted.
It is kind of hard to do videos here because we have the window and like the hummingbird comes to the feeder, and so.
I do want to add, Ben hasn't forced me into this. This was just something that has been important to him since like we started talking about having kids. I have never really cared or thought about it either way. I have no interest in doing like a gender reveal party or anything like that. It hasn't been that important to me, and because it's been very important to him. Now I will say, now that I am pregnant and I'm a planner, it's been a little bit more difficult because I don't want people to buy me a bunch of like yellow shit. But the good thing is we like greens and things like that. The baby nursery, which I don't think is on here, we're planning to do a Harry Potter theme, which can very much be neutral. And we're not really like the pink or blue people anyway. I mean, I like pink, but that doesn't mean that I'm gonna dress my baby in pink all the time. Right. Plus, I'm gonna put a boy in pink too, so like it doesn't matter. But I will say the only thing that, so like the planning part, I think makes it a little weird. That's not as important. The other thing is, I do think that sometimes for me it's a little bit harder to connect just because I can't say she or he, I say it, and that just feels less connected. Whether he or she decides that they want to be something else some other day, but initially, like right now, it just sounds disconnecting to call it an it. That's kind of the only thing that feels a little bit off. And then also, I'm an extremely perceptive person. So I am worried that I'm gonna figure it out unintentionally. And not even by like snooping, but by like if the ultrasound person like makes the side comment and like thinks that it slips by or shows something and I see something, I will pick up on that, whereas most people aren't as perceptive. So that's my only worry, is that I'm gonna figure it out and then it won't be a surprise for me. I'll have to like keep that to myself so it doesn't like ruin it for you. But yeah. So currently, no, we are not finding out the sex of the baby, and that I don't think that's gonna change.
I do think it's relevant to say too that I do understand that, and that's pretty much the only line of thinking that makes sense to me.
I'm also like afraid of the overwhelm.
Yes,
because like I get very overwhelmed. So like having a baby and it coming out of me, and then finding out what it is like
you're gonna be so high on hormones at that point, nothing's gonna matter.
I don't know.
Or passed out or whatever. She had mentioned that was like why she found out the sex, and the way that she articulated it to me, I was like, got it. Okay, I can definitely part? Yeah, I can definitely understand that, because she was making an effort, like being intentional about creating a connection before the baby was born. So I do get that.
Yeah. The next question is, how are you going to prepare Cora and Finn for the new addition? Are you concerned about how they may react to the baby? Cora and Finn are our beautiful fur children. Cora is a 5-year-old golden retriever. Finn is a almost 1-year-old golden retriever. I'll say my part quickly and then you can add in. Cora, I'm not worried about at all. Cora loves kids. She is very relaxed at this point in her life. I remember when one of his friends came over and had a baby, she like would not leave the car seat alone, and not in like a like disrupting it way. She like wanted to be by it. She loves people. Could care less about other dogs. Loves people. So I think Cora is going to be very attached. I also think Cora is very attached to me. I've noticed already that she's a little bit more watchful of me. Finn is also very intuitive and watchful of me. Whenever I'm getting sick or something, he's following me around. He's very clingy. I would say the thing with Finn that I'm most worried about, that he is only 1. He'll be 1.5 by the time we have a baby. Most of the time, golden retrievers don't relax until between 2 and 3. And he's very excitable. He's not well trained, which is on us. We are trying to train him better. So I'm more worried about Finn, like just because he's excited. I don't think he would never intentionally hurt anything. No. But I am afraid of like him jumping on the couch when the baby's there or something. So it's more like things that we need to teach Finn. But golden retrievers are the best family dogs. It's the whole reason, not the best, I think they're the best, but like it's the whole reason that they're in like all the movies as the family dog, right? Because they just love people. So I think they're gonna be fine. I think we just need to do some more training with them before it gets here.
Yeah, I have nothing to add. That was pretty much exactly my thoughts as well.
Will there be a how you told your family video, or how did you tell them? No, there will not be, because we filmed the first time I got pregnant last year, us telling our families, and then 2 days later we had to tell them that I miscarried. 3 days later maybe. Mm-hmm. So this time telling our families, we waited. We didn't film any of it. It was, in fact, I think we did it via text because I was so sick at that point. We waited until we had our 8-week appointment.
Yeah, and I like, at least for my family, I sent them the ultrasound photo and just, I don't know, made some comment afterwards. That's all I did. And then didn't you do something similar?
I did something similar. Was it like this special reveal? Like it's also really hard because we don't live near our family, so we can't tell them in person. And honestly, I was so sick that I couldn't do anything. Like even texting was really hard. I kept putting it off because I was really struggling with it and I didn't want to do it. And the anxiety of like, there's still a chance that baby won't continue, and that was, I didn't want to have that conversation again.
And I'll just say too that I was laughing because I was thinking, not at what Jesse was saying, like it's also just kind of because of our families. We just have pretty like
your family my family
even keel,
my family is not even
calm families, but like you watch, hold on though, you watch YouTube. Right. And you get these moms who are like,
Yeah,
like
neither of our moms.
Our families aren't doing that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's not going to be like some crazy reveal anyway.
Like, they know where we're at in our lives. Everything, like, it's pretty obvious where we're headed. Like, I don't know. There's just no...
Surprise.
I don't know. Yeah, there is no element of, like, we have to, like, really make this something big and crazy. So, yes, definitely the things that you had said. But we didn't do anything... like, we filmed some stuff the first time around, but we also didn't do anything crazy then either.
Right. Will you be making any changes to your routine, like diet and exercise?
More of a you question.
Yeah. Yes. So I had hoped to have already made those changes. I just turned 17 weeks today, but my first trimester sickness has continued, so it's been a little bit hard. Diet specifically has just been whatever I can get in. The biggest diet change I made is that I immediately started eating meat again. I hadn't eaten meat in almost a year. I couldn't stomach fake meat. I couldn't even stomach the smell of it. And I was craving like chicken or just like protein in general because I hadn't been eating much protein. And I also wasn't confident in my plant-based diet as it was because I was just eating a lot of carbs. I personally wasn't eating as healthy as I should have been on a plant-based diet. My hope is to, yes, pay attention to what I'm eating. I think I've been doing pretty well though, besides like when I have days where I don't feel well and I want like a McGriddle or something like that. But I'm trying to be more balanced with what I'm eating with like protein, fat, and carbs. I'm trying not to eat a ton of sugar. To be honest, that's been easy for me because sugar leaves a really gross taste in my mouth and I don't like that. That's been helpful. As far as exercise, I have not exercised since I got pregnant, so since April, and it is July 13th. I want to exercise though. I feel very out of shape. I do, with my weight, I have to be cognizant of how much weight I gain. I have a higher risk with my weight and with my thyroid stuff of, you know, some of the scarier complications you can have with pregnancy. So we're just being cautious, but my doctor was also very pointed about like eat and like you still need to gain some weight. So that's kind of my plan right now. We've talked about possibly me like working with a personal trainer or just doing stuff at home right now because COVID is spiking. So going to the Planet Fitness down the street that is like hundreds of people and not cleaned very well probably isn't the best place for me to be right now when your like immune system is down. That's kind of what is going on. So yes, I would like to make changes, but I'm just not fully there yet. Trying to get more walks in. It's also really blistering hot here. July and August are terrible in North Carolina in my opinion. So it will be easier later to be able to take walks and stuff, but I'll also be bigger at that point. What are your antibodies at when you got pregnant? I didn't look this up. I don't know. My antibodies have never been super high. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, having Hashimoto's is an autoimmune disease, which means I have antibodies in my body that are attacking, or they're showing that my body is attacking my thyroid. But mine have never been super high. I think the highest I've ever been is maybe like 200. Some people have them like well in the thousands. Mine have been well under 100 for a couple years now, but they did go up a little bit. My thyroid went off very quickly with pregnancy, which happens because the hormones are all connected. So my doctor's watching it though. So I still don't think I'm above like 60. I think I'm still pretty low though. So it is something that they're watching in pregnancy very closely. I have my naturopath watching, and then they're also watching at the doctor.
Yeah.
So what prenatal did you take? I am taking a Smarty Pants organic chewable right now because I can't swallow pills, but I was taking Designs for Health prenatal before I got pregnant and until I started having aversions to pills, apparently. We would both prefer that I took the pill version. This one also leaves a gross taste in my mouth because it's got sugar in it. Right now, the thought of taking 4 pills, I literally can't talk about it. This is one you can answer. How will you handle childcare when working from home? If you don't know, Benjamin works from home full-time for his job. I work full-time from home, but less hours because I work freelance.
It's a great question.
that we have not figured out yet.
Yeah, I mean, right, the honest answer is we don't fully know. I'm very fortunate in that I have a wonderful parental leave policy with my job. So I'm actually going to get 12 weeks of paid leave, which is
unheard of.
Truly incredible.
Shouldn't be unheard of, but it is.
Right. That is awesome because that is just really, really going to help in the early phase. First 3 months, essentially, neither of us will be working. That's how we'll start. From there, I will absolutely go back to my regular work full time. It's what's working for us right now. And because Jessie is freelance, she has a little bit more flexibility. Her income can kind of be the bonus or the thing that fluctuates a little bit, whereas like mine will create the stability. That's gonna kind of be the variable for us, and we'll just kind of see where to go from there. We'll see where you're at, how you're feeling,
right.
What if you're loving being a mom and that's what you want to do, or whether you really need some time away from baby and you want to get back into working full speed. Like that's all gonna kind of be.
Yeah, I will say this is sometimes triggering for me. I could do a whole video on this, but I didn't want to be a mom until I met Ben. So I was 27 when I decided that like maybe I would have kids. So it was just I'm not the woman that has wanted kids since I was little. I'm not the woman that has wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I was very focused on my career and things like that. In the last few years, career hasn't been as much of a focus on me because I've noticed how much it has affected my mental well-being, which is why I moved into freelance. And I've been working, I currently work with 2 clients that I really love that are very flexible. So the plan is for me to take off possibly part of December and then the beginning of the year. I won't get paid because I'm freelance, so that does suck. That's why we're focusing on filling our savings right now. We survive mostly on Benjamin's income, which is why it's obviously important for him to go back full-time to work. But mine does supplement and is helpful. Yeah. So it's really up in the air. I kind of struggle with the idea of like never working, but at the same time, I'm not comfortable with most forms of childcare. Yeah. But at the same time, I know that I'll need time by myself, and that's where childcare can be helpful. We also quite honestly can't afford childcare in our budget unless I got a full-time job, which makes no sense. So like we're still trying to figure that out. Maybe we'll get like a babysitter once a week or for like 2 hours or something. I have no idea. We haven't figured that out.
I think it's important to point out we're assuming you know something about us. If you don't know anything about us, we live in Raleigh, North Carolina. Our family lives in the Midwest, so we do not have the luxury of having family around us. And right. We made this decision a couple years ago knowing that we would be starting a family at some point, and we basically were like, we'll make the decision then of whether we want to stay, whether we want to move back near family, etc. We are planning on staying here for now. We understand
at
that
least through the next year.
Right. Yep. Through next summer, we just renewed a lease. Understanding that things could change, like our lives will be completely different when we have a kid. We're open to whatever we need to do when that time comes, but at least for the first 6 months, we will not have support in the form of family. So
or friends. We don't really have a community here yet, which is one of the downsides of being here that we're still trying to figure out, is like creating a community, if we're going to move closer to the mountains, if we're going to move home, like all those kinds of things. It's up in the air. At this point, the short and sweet version is we are both taking about 3 months off. Benjamin works from home though, so he'll still be able to like baby wear and be like connected to the baby throughout the day. His job and his bosses are very much family people, so they want you to do that. I'm planning to go back to freelance at a shortened amount of time, and then I'll gain more hours as I need them. Again, freelance I can do whenever I have time to, and then we'll see how it's going with my mental health. Like Ben said, we're both kind of wondering if I'm gonna have this like oh wait, I like this like moment, but we're also leaving it open to the fact that like I think it's really important for me also to have time that's just mine. And I know that's a privilege that not every mom has, but that is something that is very important to me. So we are trying to prioritize that. Did we do anything specific this time to get pregnant? We did the specific thing you're supposed to do to get pregnant. I will say as a woman, because I think this is important, I track my cycle. I used the app Flow, so I knew when I was ovulating, I knew when I wasn't.
And you know your body too.
I know my body. I have signals very quickly about where I'm at in my cycle. I'm very open with it with Ben. I told him when those things were happening. He picks up on patterns. So he picks up on that kind of stuff as it is. Around the time of my ovulation, because it was never exact, I have a longer cycle. It was like 33 to 35 days. I started using ovulation strips so that I could see when I was actually ovulating. And then, I mean, I was taking a prenatal ahead of time. One of the biggest things is like working on your mental health around the issue. And I know there's a lot of people that have infertility issues. It took us about 6 or 7 months to get pregnant the first time. And then we got pregnant. I miscarried a few weeks later, and we did not try at all for 7 months. I was not open to it. I did not want to. Some women want to go right back at it. I needed that time to grieve, and I think that that's important. I also needed that time to decide if I wanted to do that again. And Ben was not pushy with that. We were in no rush to have kids right now. I think that that helps. I don't think that like just change your mindset and you'll get pregnant is true. But I do think that it was helpful for me because I wasn't psycho about like following everything to a T, taking tests all the time. And some people that works for them. For me, that's so overwhelming, and then it stresses my body out. And I really, after living with chronic illness for so long and seeing what stress does to your body, I mean, I really think that that plays a part in it. We got pregnant on our second cycle trying earlier this year. I didn't do anything different besides I had worked through the emotional and mental side of having a miscarriage and worked through other mental issues that I was having last year. Just like mentally, I was not in a great place. Financially, we were not in a great place when I got pregnant last year. And so we got pregnant 2 months after Ben started his job, which I think played into it a little, or 1 month after, because we both felt more secure and less stressed about money as well, which was a huge piece. I don't think Ben did anything different. Like, I think we like, yeah, I don't think so. You're just like in a healthier place too this year though too. I feel like we both were mentally and physically, but
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, and again, echoing what Jesse said about the infertility journey, we haven't had that. We haven't had chronic miscarriages, things like that. So understanding that's a whole experience in and of itself.
Right.
We're kind of the mindset of the universe is going to give us what we need in the right timing. Again, take that with a grain of salt. Like, it doesn't mean things aren't hard. That doesn't mean the miscarriage didn't suck. That doesn't mean that everything is like always like super flowy and easy.
It wasn't disappointing when we didn't get pregnant, yeah.
But for the most part, we're like, we'll just try, and when it happens, and we'll be ready for it and go from there. That's kind of the way that we've approached it, to Jesse's point. Being really kind of like rigid about all of the things just hasn't really felt good to either of us. So that's how we've basically kind of looked at it.
Is there anything else that you think is important?
I'll just say from my perspective.
Yeah, I did answer most of the questions.
Yeah, let me talk.
Well, you can't answer the prenatal.
No, I know. I just wanted to quickly say, like, I think that for a lot of people, I don't know that pregnancy is a bonding period necessarily. I think that people think that the child's life starts when it comes out of the mother, like when it's in the world. But I've tried really hard to have this be an experience that we're both a part of. I acknowledge what Jesse's going through, and I want to be there for her and support her as much as I can. I've tried to, just really realize that you're going through something that is really hard. It's scary, it's new, it's different. What I'm getting at is, like, I don't know how many guys watch your channel, probably not a ton, but like, guys, use this experience to help get closer to your wife and support her. I'm not perfect at it, but I do try to bring myself back to that. And then, like to women, your man should be supporting you. Jesse's been a part of some Facebook groups and just like kind of mentioning some things. The behavior of partners, you know, husbands leaving their wives, all this stuff, and it just like blows my mind kind of. I just kind of wanted to say, you know, to any women, from a man's perspective, he should absolutely be there for you. So if you are not getting that, and he's not at least trying, then that's not on you. You're not crazy. You're not being needy or anything like that. He should very much be there at your side and taking this seriously. So again, I'm not saying this from a place of like, I do a perfect job of it. I don't. I think it's just really an important thing.
Yeah, I mean, truly, there's no way, absolutely no way that I would have made it through first trimester if it wasn't, I mean, physically, mentally, emotionally, like he was literally force feeding me. He was like making sure I was getting in water. He was making sure I was taking my medication. He was helping me when I couldn't get off the floor. He was helping me when I was sobbing hysterically at the toilet. It is really hard for a lot of people. And even if it's not hard for you, it's still a change. And yeah, there's like literally no way that I would have made it through if he, and honestly, if he wouldn't have been as supportive as he's been, that would have been like an extremely big cut in our relationship. I don't know that I would have been able to move forward with that. I don't know what to tell you to do if your husband or partner isn't helping you or you don't have a partner. I truly do not know how you would do that, but do know that if you can ask your partner for help, you can tell your partner things, you can be dramatic if you need to be, because this is a very big change in all parts of your life, like physically, emotionally, mentally, everything. And it's really scary, and it's been very scary for me. And yeah, so I appreciate you saying that, because I think that's really important.
I was just gonna say the final thing is, like, most of you probably know this just from relationships, but as guys, our default is to try to fix things. If you are in a really loving, caring relationship, it's really hard to see your partner going through something that sucks and being in pain. And so it's very easy for me to like, I like want to figure out what I can do to fix things. Whereas like at this point in my life, in our relationship, and now in the pregnancy, I know that Jessie just needs support. Like, I just need to be there for her. I would say just know where men are generally coming from and just like speak to that and say like, hey, I don't need anything, and then say what you do need. You know, I just need you to be here. I just need you to, like, whatever, but try to communicate that.
Okay, well, that's all the questions that we had. So if you have any other questions, leave them down below. This is a very long video, so if you even made it to this point, that's great. We appreciate you, but we'll definitely do more of these later on throughout the pregnancy. We appreciate you guys following along in all of this, and yeah, make sure you subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video.
Bye, guys.